Right.
This next topic is one of my favorites because I love when the gays on Twitter just cannibalize themselves and start eating their own. It's my favorite thing when effeminate straight men get called out for queer baiting. But now...
They're not any worse than, like, Marvel doing it with their movies.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, you were talking about Thor earlier. Remember, Thor Love and Thunder got accused of it hardcore.
Did it?
Yeah, oh yeah. There was all sorts of articles written about it. Because,
they had outright gayness, though.
Yeah, but it was referred
baiting.
to as queer baiting early on before the movie came out. They said they better not be queer baiting us.
For the characters that were gay or for Thor?
Even before Korg, but yeah, no, for the other characters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Korg and his lava baby. I'll never forget. But I just wanted to start this topic by looking at these new paparazzi photos of John Cena. Because it really sets the tone for what we're talking about, which is like the ritualistic humiliation
it does
of masculine men.
Like, there's no way that he wanted to do this. Like, he's not saying, like, look at me, I'm such a gifted actor. I'll do, like, I can slip into any role.
Although we don't know what he secretly likes and doesn't like.
Fair enough.
So, scroll through these pictures here and, like, tell me that he looks like he wants to be there. Like, he looks miserable. Look at his face. Like, come on. So he's doing this for a role in a comedy that...
I mean, this one looks like he acknowledges that he knows he looks stupid.
Okay, but this looks like a Chinese humiliation ritual.
Well, he's like, I told China that Taiwan was a country, and now I gotta pay for it. That's what's happening right
And
here.
he was walking around like this as well in, like, drag makeup the other day alongside his wife. Like, how does she feel about this?
Hey, as long as it keeps the bills coming in.
The money is there, so it doesn't matter.
Getting the money in.
He's playing a character named Ricky Stenicki, but I don't think there's a title for the movie out yet. This is him in Melbourne. But anyway, here's the gist of the story today. Basically, Matty Healy, the lead singer of the 1975...
I literally had never even, like, thought about the 1975 until we started covering them here. But it's always about Matty Healy. It's never about...
There are a lot of things you never thought about before covering them on Pop Culture.
Definitely not Matty Healy.
The lead singer of 1975 went on the Adam Friedland podcast. And if you don't know who that is, he's just some, like, dirtbag left character. That's literally what it's called. It's dirtbag left. So they're like the edgy leftists who are like subversive and they're allowed to make offensive jokes. So he went on this podcast and it was very controversial. He called out Harry Styles for queer baiting. He said basically Harry Styles gets the equivalent of an N-word pass among the gay community, being able to prance around in dresses and nail polish and makeup.
But doesn't that stereotyping them?
Not identify as gay.
Isn't that a huge stereotype of them, though? Like, to the community? To say that that's how they all dress?
We'll get into it, but first let's play this clip from Matty Healy on the podcast, and we'll see if you guys think it's as homophobic and sexist and racist as everyone else does.
You see that Adam Pink's getting cancelled for looking like a lesbian for her career, and now that's being regarded as queer baiting. So like, loads of 18-year-olds being like, she's done irreparable damage.
He's the British one,
Why
by
they let
the way,
Harry Styles do that?
Why do they let him? He gets a pass. I don't know.
He's like basically has the N-word pass from the gay community. Yeah.
I actually don't think the gays really like it. I think it's like young girls that think it's a new thing that are like, oh my god, you know, and then actually gay people are like,
gay men don't have a problem with somebody pretending to be gay. They just jack off to it. It's only lesbians would be like, you're not actually a lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. Like, gay guys just find out.
Yeah, any gay man that sees a straight man prancing around in like skimpy clothes, being like, ooh, who wants to fuck my ass? Or like,
yeah,
come over here and let me fuck your ass. It's even better that I know that you're straight.
Yeah. Maybe it's not all gay guys, but a lot of them.
It's all of them.
It's all gay guys. We speak on behalf of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a Lorax.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so then in this article it says, Matty half-heartedly attempted to push back, saying maybe it's not all gay guys, but a lot of them. And you can tell from just the cadence of this conversation that these guys are, like, kind of edgelords.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're very clearly trying to push the boundaries.
But I
trying to be
think that,
provocative.
like, Matty Healy actually is a clever artist and clever lyricist, and we've talked about him before. He does performance art on stage, basically. Like, on his recent tour, he's been eating raw meat, doing push-ups in front of TVs that are playing Ben Shapiro videos. And, you know, this is up to your interpretation what he means by this. But what he says before he does those push-ups is like, I don't know how to be a liberal man anymore, so I stopped trying. That's what he says.
Good for him. I'm all about that.
But then other people who want him to still be woke are saying like, no, he's doing this to make fun of toxic masculinity. He's still the perfect male feminist hero. So no one can make their minds up about like what this art actually means, which according to some is the point of art, right? So that people can argue about it and you don't have to explain.
That's actually kind of perfect, right? Like, I mean, that kind of happens to us sometimes when we're doing segments and like we talk about things and sometimes it's just like I don't verbalize what I'm saying as well as I'd like and people like argue, like they're getting the complete wrong point of what I was making.
Sometimes it's just not worth it to explain yourself.
Exactly. Most of the time it's not worth it to explain yourself.
And like Twitter gays of all people are going to assume the worst no matter what you do. So people were very angry about Matty Healy's comments, and I've pulled up some tweets in reaction to his appearance. They were mad that he talked to Adam Friedland at all, and like I couldn't care less about Adam Friedland. I just think it's funny when they get angry about these things. One person said, y'all are freaking out about Matty Healy talking about Harry Styles, but ignoring how everything on that podcast was horrendous.
Everything I heard from that little clip was clearly edgelord behavior of people who are like, oh my God, I'm going to be
that's like edgelording, but you wouldn't call it all of the ists and phobes, right?
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't, but I think we have more nuance than
they said. Who gives an F? He talked about Harry Styles when he was homophobic, racist, and misogynistic. Another tweet said Harry Styles the queerbaiter versus Matty Healy the feminist baiter. So they think they're both playing a nefarious game.
So, I mean, what it actually says to me is that as much as these groups talk about how they're marginalized, everyone's like literally reaching out to them. So how are you marginalized if everyone is trying to goad you into following them or use you as like some type of cash cow? And, you know, like Disney or all these Fortune 500 companies that suddenly change their logos in June.
Right.
It's like
we're in Black History Month.
Yeah. Well,
which we're in right now.
So it's like, is it really are you really all that oppressed if everyone wants to market to you?
Right. I think if there's just one exception of a celebrity that doesn't kowtow to them and pander to them, then they throw a tantrum every time. I find it hilarious. Yep. Another thing I remembered is that Matty Healy did a music video years ago, I think in like 2016. It was called Love Me, and it's just about vapid celebrities who live off of the validation they get from the press and from fandom. And he pranced around in that music video with a life-size cardboard cutout of Harry Styles.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it.
He was taking shots at him all these years ago.
But it was like young Harry Styles. It was like like old Harry. Like,
and you know something weird about Harry Styles' pivot to looking androgynous or girly? He's always been girly. Yeah. Since One Direction.
He was the pretty boy.
He was the pretty boy. So how is this rebelling against his past when he's always been like a pansy? You're just doubling down on being a pansy?
So it would have been different if he had like gotten himself a Harley and gotten
I like the idea that they've just like had beef for years.
Yeah.
So I saw this other story from back in January this year. Matty Healy revealed that he invited Harry Styles to perform at one of his concerts, and he got back a firm no. So,
I like that he like didn't. At least he didn't get left on red like Elizabeth Banks. Ooh. Oh, got him.
And I just want to talk about like, is Harry Styles queer baiting? And if he is, can you really blame him?
It feels like a grift to me because, I mean, he went from having a fan base when he was in One Direction that was mainly teenage girls. Yeah. And as those teenage girls have grown up, he's wanted to find a new niche. And what's selling right now is being androgynous, is being, you know, pushing the envelope a little bit with your gender identity.
Wouldn't it genuinely push the envelope to be more masculine, though?
No, because pushing the envelope is only applicable there if you push the envelope in the way they want you to push the envelope.
Look at John Krasinski. Yeah. He's leaned into like a masculine archetype, and he, you know, appears as, you know, a masculine man.
Kind of. I mean, does Jack Ryan really count as, like, I guess, yeah.
Does it not?
Like, I don't really think of him that way. I think, actually, if anything, I think of him as, like, just kind of a pretty boy who's at the edge of, like...
You think John Krasinski is a pretty boy?
Okay, let me rephrase that.
It's a bit of a hot take.
In a world where Chris Pratt is what passes for an action star physically now, yeah. Like, I think he's... By that meaning, like, he's just a normal dude. He looks like a dad. Like, he looks like a dad that you'd see at a suburban soccer game. Yeah, he's that's what passes for action hero now, because the Arnolds of the world don't make it in Hollywood the way they used to. You have your Dave Bautistas, you have your Alan Richsons, and those are the outliers of what's allowed to be masculine these days. And even Dave Bautista has gone to great lengths to, like, expand beyond the portfolio of just looking like a big buff wrestler dude. Like you said, he did Knock at the Cabin, and I thought he was a legitimately good actor in that, even if I didn't like the movie all that much. You don't have the traditional Hollywood celebrity, or the traditional Hollywood action star like you did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So if that's like, if we have Tom Cruise, who's 5'6", and we have John Krasinski, who looks like looks like a soccer dad, like that's your action heroes now. That's the best you can do. That's fine.
Hugh Jackman.
You have yeah. Even then, like, but I'm still saying, like, they're not the Stallones or the Swartz, the Arnies of the past. So it is what it is, but I don't look at John Krasinski and think, like, tough.
It's a different game when you're a musician rather than actor as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you're just playing one role, and it's just you.
Yeah, and because that's more of an art form than, like, your own personal identity that's coming out through your music instead of you playing a part.
Even then, the music is so manufactured. Like, it's not like anyone thinks that Harry Styles has some great insight into the music he's creating.
Harry Styles...
He's a product that's...
Think about watermelon sugar.
He's a product that's being packaged and sold to you.
Yeah, I just think of him, like, dressed up as the fairy godmother, like, throwing sprinkles everywhere and singing about watermelon sugar.
Yep. Well, even what you said earlier about, like, you said he did an interview where he's like, yeah, I don't think that much about my sexuality. I'm like, that's a lie.
Well, yeah, here's what he said when he was asked if he is bisexual. A fair question. He said, "It's not like I'm sitting on an answer and protecting it or holding it back. It's not a case of I'm not telling you because I don't want to tell you." He said, "Who cares?" Does that make sense? Who cares?
He's lying. There are whole boardrooms that have spent time figuring out what his sexuality is going to be marketed as.
This is the most ironic part. He said, "Am I sprinkling in nuggets of sexual ambiguity to try and be more interesting? No."
He's just lying. Why are they
Harry
all liars?
Styles, that is exactly what you're doing.
They're all just liars. They're just bad people. They're celebrities. They're bad people.
I don't know. I just think sexuality is something that's fun.
Oh my God!
Honestly, I can't say I've given it any more thought than that.
It's all fun in games until it starts getting pushed on our children, though.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you do not dress the way he dresses and say that you don't put thought into it. It ties directly to it. Like, it ties directly to that if you're a straight dude. Like, like a guy who chooses his clothes, even if he's not somebody who thinks heavily about fashion, thinks about at least a little about what that says about him.
Thank you.
I kept it. One more for 300.
Thank you, guys.
What? I can't hear you.
We're gonna have to wait for this to be over. Okay, I liked your point about him, like, leaving One Direction, not leaving, but, like, One Direction fell out. And then you need to find your shtick that makes you marketable still when you're not part of a boy band.
Yeah.
And his happened to be dressing like a pretty boy, and that's
could have gone the Bieber route and just become, like, a
bad person for a while.
Yeah, like, just pee in mop buckets. That's what I'm all for it. Let's go.
I mean, they're all doing that. They're all doing that same grift. Like, Louis Tomlinson just announced that they're, like, releasing a documentary about him that he's producing.
What?
I know. It's like, who is interested in a documentary about Louis Tomlinson in 2023?
It wasn't to stand to begin with, but...
Also, you shouldn't be allowed to produce your own documentary if you're still alive.
Or your own biopic.
Definitely
cough, Madonna.
Definitely not.
Tell that to the Harry and Megans of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about that, Harry
Oh,
and
my goodness.
Did you watch it?
No, I try to turn a blind eye to that sort of stuff and not give them my dollars.
Yeah.
But, no, I've never been a fan of Harry or Meghan, especially.
British people are just, like... weird to me, and that's why I never liked One Direction.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't get the appeal. They're British, so I'm supposed to like them.
Do you like the Beatles?
No.
Thank God.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, I get that that's like the take now. It's like, oh, the Beatles are overrated, but I mean, they were though.
They were. And hey, when they disbanded of sorts, I mean, John Lennon went the hippie route, so
yeah, you gotta like pick your
aesthetic.
grift.
Yeah.
And I wanted to address what Harry Styles said at the Grammys again, just because I can't get over it. He accepted his award for Album of the Year, and he said, "This doesn't happen to people like me very often."
What does that even mean?
Good question.
What the hell does that mean?
Like, I hope someone eventually asks him, what did you mean when you said this? Because does he mean gay people? Like, but you're not willing to adopt the label of gay.
But is it like, does he mean people who have entire marketing departments designed to figure out whether their sexuality is marketable to people yet?
This even pissed off the SJWs because they're like, you're a white male, of course this happens for you all the time. You can't claim our oppression. So it's like, it's pissing off literally everyone and doesn't make him more marketable, in my opinion. Like, it's a losing game.
Are there actually people that like Harry Styles that aren't is his audience still teenage girls that just grew up?
I think a lot of girls in their 20s hung on though.
That's what I'm saying. Nostalgia. He's like the comic book industry that's looking to find the phantom audience. He needs the phantom audience. This is Hollywood's fault for pushing the lie that that LGBTQIA numbers are higher than they are. According to television, 75% of your workplace is gay. At least if you work in an office of 7 people, 3 of them will be Muslim. All of them will be gay. And,
that's not even true if you live in San Francisco.
75% will be gay, and then there will be one straight dude there, no matter where you are, and he will be really bad at his job and a dick. Like, that's according to Hollywood. Like, I've gotten messages from people when I post like trailers and stuff who live out of the country, like people who don't know any of this stuff is going on, like people that follow me on Instagram, so they're mostly following me through skating stuff, and they're like, dude, if I took, they're like, I would have assumed that America was 80%, was 70% black and 70% gay.
Yeah.
Take a look at any commercial and just. I mean,
those are my favorite.
That's why people assume that all Americans are fat as well.
Yeah.
Because it's being amplified in our advertisements as well. Like.
That's been going on for a long time. Like the first time I went to Europe, they were just shocked I wasn't fat. The people I met there were like literally shocked that I wasn't fat.
It really just depends on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
Because where I'm from, the standard is that no one is fat. But when I would visit my sister who went to college in the Midwest, I felt like a twig walking around.
Yep.
It just depends.
Depends on where you go.
Yeah. So do you guys agree with Matty Healy? Like, is Harry Styles guilty of queer baiting? And
I would say,
is that the equivalent of the N-word pass for the gay community?
First of all, that assumes that everyone.
Exaggeration.
Yeah. First of all, that assumes that everyone thinks the same in their group, which is extremely insulting to them. But also, it's like, I don't even want to blame him. I just want to blame whoever his PR firm is and whoever the people are that are marketing him. Like, he is not his own person anymore. Like, for a lot of these celebrities, they don't have any actual autonomy. Like, he doesn't get to make a lot of decisions, I bet, on stuff like this. Like, when he goes out and wears something, he thinks about it. At the very least, he thinks about it. At most, he has a stylist that helps him get dressed.
True.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's not only that he dresses androgynously, but it's that specifically it creeps me out that he dresses up like a little girl would dress.
And it makes me feel better that I get to wear sweatpants to work every day. I don't have to.
That's true. We don't have a dress code here.
Yeah, I don't have. Well, and I don't have to wear in the old Cast Castle vlog, like the comment section would call me H&M because of my long shirts. Like, I'm fine with being labeled by my clothing because it's me. It would be some type of hell if you had to dress. Like, imagine he doesn't like doing that, but it's just the money's too good. That would be a specific type of hell to me, to have to completely change something as base level as like how you dress and look in your everyday life, not just like when you go to work.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Well, I had this question before we started, and I'm gonna ask it later about would you let Kanye West pick your clothes for you? Would you let someone else take the control?
I don't know if it would be Kanye.
Would you wear tight leather pants and then go eat Italian food with him.
No.
Sounds uncomfortable.
No.
I mean, can I just wear tight pants? Because my pants are tight anyways. So
leather pants?
Not
I don't
leather.
know if that's the vibe
I'm not doing
you're
leather.
going
I'm not doing leather or pleather.
But anyway, there's your debriefing on 9/11 for 2014 Tumblr users.
Somebody in the Shimmy Shelley in the chat says, yes, Brett. Yes, why the long shirts, Brett? Stop hiding that behind. So yes, I'm hiding my behind.
They want to see it.
Yes.
So maybe you should do the tight leather pants.
Yeah.
See, the problem
it's a vibe.
is, they would rip. I don't want the pants to rip. Like also, like I was wearing tight pants before guys could get tight pants, so it became revolutionary when you were finally able to get tight pants that were actually made for men, rather than ones that had to be like I used to have all my pants brought in.
Mm-hmm. I've been having the struggle of finding jeans.
It's not easy. Like for me, I found there's a brand called Plaids and Plain that do good not cotton and spandex rather than denim and spandex together. Yeah. Like it's a softer material.
I have the exact same struggle though, Mary, where like I'll find them, they'll fit my thighs great. And then I go and button them up, and there's the biggest gap in the back because I guess my waist is supposed to be like this wide if my hips are also this wide.
The sizings are very fat now. Like
yes.
Yep. Target 00 is my size, and I am not a 00.
You could probably go in the kids section.
Yeah, I mean I have in the past.
I can still buy shoes in the kids section.
Nice.
Love that.
There was a time when I could get like rare like Air Maxes that they didn't make in like men's size, like colorways that they didn't make, like purple and orange Air Maxes that you could only get from the kids section. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.